What's up, nerds? All right, so I want to talk about Dexter. Dexter Resurrection, season 1. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. I liked it a lot better than New Blood. Really enjoyed Original Sin as well, leading up to Resurrection. Speaking on that for a second, I just like the whole nostalgia. I'm a nostalgia guy. I love like the throwbacks and things, and I love how you see the characters in their younger years and kind of getting started. And I love seeing all the throwbacks to like Dexter's first kills and him getting into it. I loved Christian Slater as Harry. I thought the guy that played Batista did a great job, but it felt like cosplay. It was a little too on the nose, you know. The guy that played Masuka was incredible, and of course the guy that played Dexter, and then of course Deb. I think everybody did a really great job, and I loved the Original Sin. So, and I was hoping that we would see more of that, but apparently they canceled the second season. Anyway, moving on to Resurrection. I've been a Dexter fan since 2007, I think. I saw the second season. I caught like one of the episodes of the second season, and I was like, what is this? This looks pretty cool. Went back and watched all the first season stuff with Ice Truck Killer, and then was just a huge fan from then on. I'd say up until season 5, it was on fire. Seasons 5 to 8, the whole back half of it, I watched every episode. You know, they were fine, but seasons 1 to 4 were just like the best Dexter for me. I just felt like they were great and had the best storytelling. 5, 6, 7, 8 was, you know, exploring stuff with Harrison as a baby and these new women coming into his life. And the way that it ended was, you know, a lot of people were upset about it, and I was sort of indifferent. It was fine, but I didn't think it was great. But love the first 4 seasons of Dexter for sure, the original stuff. But New Blood was, I loved it. I thought it was great. I wasn't a big fan of Harrison in that season. And I did like the big bad. I thought that was cool what he was doing. And I haven't watched this since it dropped a couple of years ago, I guess. But so I'm trying to remember. Overall, I enjoyed the season. Wasn't a huge fan of Harrison. I thought killing Dexter was sort of like the way for them to transition to Harrison as like the new Dexter. So we were gonna have a whole new series based around him, and I just didn't like that because I think we all just love Dexter and Michael C. Hall, and we would like to see more of that continue. So getting into Resurrection, I think that the way that they explained his survival was clever. You know, the being in the snow, and he didn't bleed out like he would if it was like summertime. I thought that was great. So he was basically on ice and somehow survived. And now I didn't binge these episodes. We watched week to week, so I'm sort of going off of memory as well. Just the highlights and things that I remember. The first episode was more about kind of catching up, and he's sort of dreaming and seeing people from his past. I love how Dokes is in there. Surprise, motherfucker. Really enjoyed that. Forgot to mention Harry. Dude, I love Harry in the season. He had some good jokes. He played off of Dexter really well. I like how he was really like heavily involved in every episode, because the Dexter's monologue is so important to the whole series, and having Harry there to sort of play off of his, you know, you realize, you know, that he's at war with himself. He's like talking to himself, but I don't know, I just love that it's Harry, and just, I don't know, just anyway, I love that. So, okay, back to the edit. You see him trying to figure out like what's going on, what happened. He's wondering if he's dead, and then the Angel Batista comes back into his life. And I knew pretty much from episode 2, I think, that Angel was gonna get it. I was like, yeah, he's gonna be too far into this, and he's gonna be consumed by trying to find out the truth about Dexter. And he's pretty sure of it. And I just felt like, yeah, he's gonna die. There's no way he's not gonna die in this season. And maybe it would have been cool to see him go on to like season 2 and see where he goes, you know, just more down the rabbit hole. But by the end of the season, he was so far into it. In the hotel room, he had all the documents and stuff, and the whole like conspiracy wall. And I just knew that he's definitely gonna get it in this season. I like what they did with Harrison. Can we talk about the how much therapy Harrison is gonna need at some point? because of this fucked up relationship he has with his dad. I love how they became like more of a unit, father and son at the end, and everything seems to be kind of normal for him, I guess. So he's going to college for criminology. He's going to be a cop, I guess a detective at some point. Finds himself a girlfriend, and seems to be all the chips are lining up for him. But still, it's funny because you have to sort of suspend your disbelief a little bit with the show, because a lot of things that don't seem very believable. That Harrison can just live this normal life, having brutally murdered someone in the first episode. Was it the first episode? Cutting up the body and getting rid of the body parts and just doing what his dad did. I don't see how someone can just go about living a normal life. Now, the justification obviously being that the guy was a terrible person. He was a date rapist. For sure, people like that gotta go, right? But the brutality of it and having taken someone's life, that's gotta weigh on a normal person, I would think. I can't imagine that a normal person would be able to live like a regular life after that. But it's Dexter world, so you have to sort of not think about that too much, I guess. Seeing Batista get killed, obviously, that was kind of a bummer. It's like, man, we knew it was coming, but seeing it happen, I think at the end, seeing him, those dying moments when he's like, Dexter, fuck you. Even though he told him, he's like, look, I didn't kill LaGuerta, I didn't kill Dokes. I just need you to know that. I thought that was cool that he could get that out and let him know before he died. But then when he's like, Dexter Morgan, fuck you, it was just like, oh yeah, I mean, yeah, fuck you, man. Look, I'm dying. Another person dying because of you. One of your good friends from the old days. The way he has that guttural, like that scream. It's, Dexter doesn't feel love. He doesn't feel that pain, but it's just his version of love, his version of pain and sadness, right? He's learned what that feels like. I don't know shit about serial killers or sociopaths or whatever, but like that empathy that's not there, it affects them in some way. And then they just have to learn what that is. They process that like, oh, this is sadness. This is love. This is that. That's what I think he's doing. He can't really love, but he understands what it is to love and what it is to lose someone. And that's why he still gets angry and things like that. Also knowing that Batista doesn't fit the code, but Batista's obviously a good guy. He's a sweetheart. He was always a sweetheart. And as a matter of fact, I don't think we ever heard Batista say fuck in the original episodes. I could be wrong. It's been a minute since I've seen those, but anyway, there were definitely some quirks. As the Dexter show is, there's quirks. I think in any of these shows, there's always some kind of quirk because it needs to work for the story. Some of the quirks that I found just okay, while I'm watching. Again, you got to try not to think about this stuff, but here's some things that I did notice. It was really easy for Dexter to get out of the hospital, steal that truck, and make it to New York, get himself some clothes. It just, how long until you think that they would report the truck missing? Like, you feel like it would find that, especially going to New York City. That felt a little funny to me. How he found Harrison. Now, I don't remember, I might be missing this, let me know if I missed this, but did he know that Harrison worked at the Empire Hotel? Because he just rolled up and was like, oh, there's my son. Harrison just happened to be outside, like loading someone's bags into their car. He just found Harrison in New York City, needle in a haystack. I've been in New York City many times and pretty fucking big, and there's a lot of people there. It just seemed funny to me that he would find Harrison just like that. Another one for me was Prater hosting the annual NYPD fundraiser at the same hotel that Harrison works at. Thought that was a little bit too convenient for the story for Dexter. I feel like the story was just made for Dexter. The way, obviously the way he finds Red, kills Red, assumes his identity, sneaks himself into this party, this gathering for serial killers, which was cool. Obviously it was cool. I love Neil Patrick Harris's character, by the way. Such a dick, and he plays such a dick like really well. Kristen Ritter, great job. I love the relationship between them. I know the whole idea was for him to be able to speak freely amongst other serial killers, and he could feel sort of accepted for once, because, as we all know, the only people that ever know his identity are the people that he kills. And then it's like he has to go back to being anonymous again and secretive. So I'm sure that felt great for him. But it also presented a smorgasbord for this guy. Like he's like, oh, I got all this right. And we even have our own private like texting that we can find each other's locations. And I mean, it just felt really dialed in for Dexter. Very, very easy, like shooting fish in a barrel for him at this point. Now, granted, obviously, like getting these people onto his table, that's a whole other thing. But there were just a lot of like little convenient times where it felt like it was a little too easy for him, But again, can't really think about that too much. Cleaning up the kill rooms was another one. Like Harrison, come on, inexperienced, his first kill. He's gonna completely get rid of all the blood evidence. And they were pretty good at explaining all this stuff away, but like, and of course he's Dexter's son, so Dexter taught him. But like, how much of that information would he actually retain? Like, from the New Blood season, like it just felt a little bit unbelievable. Dexter finding his way. He seems to just be able to walk. You can just walk through a kitchen at any restaurant and nobody says anything. I thought that was pretty funny. There were like 3 different kitchens in this season where Dexter just walked through, no problem. Nobody said anything. Thought that was funny. Him finding the blood spatter on the ceiling from when Harrison, went up to every slice and was able to get rid of that before the cops found it, which I thought was interesting. Which brings me to the finale after he kills Prater. And then, was it the alarm going off or something like that? I can't remember. He takes the knife out really quickly out of Prater. There's gonna be blood spatter on the ceiling, right? Or on the wall behind him, or maybe even on the floor, right? I mean, from what I can tell from when you watch like the first 48 or any of these like true crime videos, there's blood everywhere. Blood is everywhere. It's quite the nuisance, So the idea that he's just gonna clean up every bit of blood before the cops come in, but again, it's Dexter, right? The other thing was like his fucking fingerprints were everywhere, all over this vault, all over this stuff. He's going through those folders. He's trying to find the combination to this vault to get Harrison to open it up for him. Things like that I thought were funny. The way the swift move at the end when Harrison stabs Prater with the M99. Like it was so fluid and just perfect. And he shoots the ceiling, doesn't shoot Dexter. Like, it's just too perfect in some places. One of the other quirks was like how fast Blessing just became friends and offered his home. He said, hey, rent out this spot for me. Oh, here, I'll get you set up with your car. Here's all the things you need to make sure your passengers are good. And like, he was just so nice. And that's part of it too, is they kind of explain that away as like, clearly this guy has a great heart of gold. He sees the good in people. He just wants to, obviously there's some dark moments for him, but he ultimately sees the good in people and he just wants to help. Again, it was just another really, really wild convenience for Dexter that just worked in his favor. But at the end of the day, it's Dexter, it's fun, I think they have to kind of bend these little physics rules and things here and there to make it work, but I don't know. Ultimately, those are just like gripes. Don't be mad at me. Just little things that I picked out. I love the show. I thought it was great. It's nice to have Dexter back. Michael C. Hall is incredible. Love him. I look forward to season 2 for sure. I love at the end, he's just sort of like, he's coming into his own, like he's accepting who he is. And that little fourth wall break at the end where he looks at the camera and he's like, I'm everything you want me to be. I thought that was great. I love that bit of writing there because the show, the writers, Dexter, they know what we want. We are like twisted and sickly championing this guy, even though he's a goddamn serial killer, right? He's getting the bad guys, and we love that. That's why we love Dexter, So that was a really fun season. I couldn't wait to watch the next episode, and I can't wait for season 2. So let me know what you guys thought below. Would love to hear your thoughts on it. What did you guys think about the funny little quirks about it? Anyway, thanks for watching. This is just my second channel here where I get to just talk bullshit about the things that I enjoy aside from music and my whole music career. If you guys want to check out my vlog channel about my music career and production videos and things like that, go check that out. I'll leave the link in the description. But other than that, let me know what you guys thought of this video, and I'm wondering what I should talk about next. All right, bye.